Mike, we did a segment earlier with baseball in general, what was going on in the first half. Now let's go specific with the Philadelphia Phillies, what the people around here care about, right?
Disaster, to put it succinctly.
You know, I think they had 50 losses all of last year, and they're basically there already. You know, it took them to September last year.
Well, it's 60, but your point is a good one.
September to get to 50
your
losses.
Point is a good one. Yes,
already.
I understand what you're saying.
Their home record's not good. It's just not been good baseball. There's been some injuries, obviously, and that happens. But first of all, what stands out in the first half? What's been the biggest disappointment for the Phillies this year so far for you?
Well, a lot of it is injuries, but it's just some individual performances that have just been awful, and also, you know, when you're losing. Base running mistakes, defensive mistakes, those things stand out, and sometimes that gets a little overstated, but I do think it's accurate to say that they have beat themselves and give the other team extra outs a little more than they have done in the past. They've always been a team that was pretty good defensively. This year, I think they're below average defensively, and it's an interesting question. It might be a depressing question because I think it's clear that this era of success is not going to continue. Things are going to have to change, but it'll be interesting to see how they react and what they do next.
And it will be, because I think they can be sellers to a standpoint that can help them for next year. I'm thinking 2013 as opposed to 2017, 2018. You know, the Yankees had a hiccup in there. The Red Sox had a hiccup, and they came back and won World Series titles.
Yeah.
So this can be corrected. And obviously there was two big injuries in here. Three, Halladay during the year, but obviously Utley and Howard in there. And that can be rectified. The bullpen needs to be addressed. That was a major fiasco. I didn't expect it to that magnitude. You obviously got a great closer. If you can get some guys in there in between him, you're in good shape. And, you know, I really want to see what they do at third base. I think the next couple of weeks are going to be very important to see.
Yeah, and there was an article, Dave Montgomery did an interview with the Philly paper this week where he talked, and I didn't get a whole lot out of it. It was the normal diplomatic stuff, but one thing I did get that seemed pretty clear was they're really going to be watching the ball club very closely these first couple series out of the All-Star break and make a decision about to what extent do we want to tear down, to what extent do we want to tweak, what kind of moves we make, and then they're going to do something by the trade deadline. I think they're going to be active participants in the next months or so, which has not been Ruben Amero's track record. He is just about at the bottom of Major League GMs in terms of how active he has been at the trade deadline, but I think that's going to change.
The funny thing with him is every year it seems whatever he says, it's the opposite. If he says, we're probably going to hold steady, they trade. So listen to what he's going to say, because it's going to be the opposite of what he says.
Duly noted.
You know, I think Victorino is probably going to be gone. Something happened over the weekend, too.
I do, too.
And I think if you can get a quality, even double-A player in return, he might not be the player that's going to be in here in 2013, because Victorino's at the end of his deal. The other thing is Hamels is at the end of a contract, and unfortunately Major League Baseball changed their rule with collective bargaining. Used to be when you trade a player that was a rental player, you got that team would get draft picks if the guy didn't sign. That's not the case anymore. But I think Hamels could still get traded, wink, wink, wind up back in Philly at the end of the year, sort of a new deal. Love to see him get traded to Texas.
He brought that possibility up the other day. Yeah,
before anybody else thought about it, I think I heard from Hamels.
Very interesting. And it tells me that guys still want to be in Philadelphia. They still think that Philadelphia is one of the high-priced entities in the sport, and they still think it's a good situation.
Basically, Hamels said, "I wouldn't mind being traded if it helps the team, and I could come back next year."
So he's a rental for the Texas Rangers for 3 months, and then next year he's back with the Phillies. I mean, that's sort of a fantasy scenario.
It is, and I'm in fantasy sports too much.
But it's not.
They have a good third baseman. Yeah. It's a double-A. Texas he's blocked because Adrian Beltre, and Beltre's relatively young still, that it could be, I can see Texas doing it too.
You're wheeling and dealing, Starkey, and you do it so well.
Thank you.